feel that we don't have enough information to be certain of anything yet. Perhaps I can find where Kara is hiding. I'm usually able to see things I'm looking for, more or less. That's useful. I don't suppose Kara is possessing Gerson.
Oh, shut your trap, you schmuck!
No, I'm not kidding. Anything's possible. How much time has passed? Oh, look at the calendar.
It's already April! How?
Time reacts weirdly for us. It's nothing new. I suppose we ought to pay closer attention.
Any questions, kiddos?
Gerson's clearly a better teacher than Gaster is. I approve.
Now that's not a very nice thing to say. It's not very fair either. Comparing a brand new teacher to someone who's nearly 1,000 years his senior, who's been teaching scrappy youngins for most of his life? For shame. For shame.
I have a question, Mr. Gerson. Why did the wizards help the humans in the first place?
Good question. Well, here's the exciting thing. We monsters didn't even know the answer to that until after we got our butts to the surface and started looking into it. We know the identity of all 7 wizards who created the barrier, why they did what they did, and what happened to them afterwards. The 7 of them were from the same Wizards Guild. They were the last surviving members, in fact, because the rest of their colleagues were burnt at the stake for one stupid made-up reason or another. They could see which way the wind was blowing. The monster rebellion was reduced to a few thousand, scared, ducking into the caves under Mount Ebott, and hoping that their traps would be enough to fight off an army of humans. A massacre seemed inevitable. They spoke to the human general and proposed the idea of sealing the monsters away with a spell. And while he distrusted magic, he also valued the lives of his men. He knew that if he intended on wiping out every last monster, most of his men would die fighting in the caves. So he gave the 7 wizards all that they would need to cast the spell. His men set to work driving every last monster they could find to hide under Mount Ebott, where he believed they would be imprisoned for all eternity. The 7 of them didn't just cast the spell that created the barrier, they also created with the barrier the prophecy. One day, an angel who has seen the surface will descend into the dark. They will free monster kind, and the underground will go empty.
So, they knew a human child would eventually free the monsters?
Of course not. Nobody can predict the future with 100% accuracy. That ain't how it works. It's actually the other way around. Prophecies, the real ones anyhow, they don't predict diddly squat. No, it's the prophecy that directs fate, and it's by no means perfect at it. It takes an absurd amount of magic to pull off a prophecy, especially on the scale that those 7 wizards did. But they did.
Mr. Gerson, I have a question.
Yes, Flowey?
How would we even know for certain if they'd succeeded at all in creating a prophecy? I mean, they could have just shouted out some predictions at us, and people just attributed some coincidences to it later. It's kind of vaguely worded already, so how can we tell this isn't just superstitious nonsense? No offense.
None taken, kiddo. You shouldn't just take my word for it anyway. My memory's not exactly the sharpest these days. If you want proof, then sadly I ain't got any. But I can give you some evidence. You gotta think, if a real prophecy happened, what can we expect to see? It's incredibly rare for prophecies to get it right the first time, so what you can expect to see is a whole bunch of potential chosen ones, all being drawn by fate to the same place. An angel who has seen the surface, and they will free monster kind. Seems vague when you hear it, but prophecies tend to get specific anyways, no matter how vaguely they're worded. An angel can be taken to mean an innocent person. In other words, a child. Just take a look at this timeline, will ya? September 15, 11:15. The monster-human war ends with the creation of the barrier. September 15th, 2016. A human, Kara, falls into the underground. They are adopted by the royal family. Kara was 10 at the time they fell, and identified neither male nor female, which, as I understand it, is considered rather rare among humans. September 15th, 2018. Kara dies of a sudden tragic illness. The young Prince Azrael absorbs their soul, reaches the surface, and ultimately dies of wounds inflicted by humans. September 15th, 2067. Another child falls into the underground. They are named Oscar, and they too are outside of human gender norms. September 15th, 2078. Erika, another child outside of human gender norms, falls underground. September 15th, 2085. Paolo, another child outside of human gender norms, falls underground. September 15th, 2089. Danny, another child outside of human gender norms, falls underground. September 15th, 2093. Blake, another child outside of human gender norms, falls underground. September 15th, 2105. Hannah, another child outside of... You get the picture, right? The prophecy refers to the angel who will free monster kind as they. The wizards likely meant it as a good person of irrelevant gender, but the prophecy could easily have taken it to mean innocent child of non-binary gender. What's more, every last child fell on a September 15th. Heck, even their names. They all have names made up of 5 letters. You know what else has 5 letters? Angel. They could be coincidences, true, but there's a point where the coincidences start to become a pattern. Of course, it's just as likely I've gone a bit wacky in my old age, so who knows?
How peculiar! Flowey, for once, doesn't have anything pessimistic to say and is asking a genuinely good question to further these children's knowledge. We're so proud of you, Flowey. You've come a long way.
What are you talking about? I'm at school. What else am I supposed to do at school? What? I can't do something normal without people bringing up a bunch of unnecessary attention to it? Psh, that's weird. You guys are weird. Leave me alone, weirdo.
So, Gerson, if the prophecy was therefore true, why was it so long for it to happen? And if so, why would the wizards have left the prophecy? It doesn't make sense.
Hey, get the prophecy a break, huh? It can't be easy bending fate to fulfill what some wizards say when people have got free will, making them all unpredictable and such like. Probably a tough gig bringing a prophecy. Most of them fail to get fulfilled at all. As for why the wizards did it, there was a cave wall just outside the barrier that was discovered soon after we all came to the surface. It was carved with magic and dates back to the barrier's creation. It says, "On this day we create a barrier with our lives. In the future, humans and monsters will live in peace."
With our lives?
Oh, well, yeah. There's consequences for casting magic as big and powerful as that. It would have taken all of their magical energy as well. That would have killed them.
Oh
Well, I mean, it was a war, and there could have been a lot more death if they hadn't done what they did. It's important that we remember their sacrifice,